Hello, guys. We're here for another live session. And yeah, let me know when you're ready and who's online. Today, I want to talk about the finish that I usually do. If you remember, last week I cleaned the metal parts, and I've already I covered it up a bit because I want to keep the surprise. But in any case, I cleaned the metal. I did a round of Brasso, and I painted the metal bits to protect them from rusting in the future. Um, yes, so today I'm going to talk about, as I said, the custom finish that I do. The base is of a Lebanese American furniture designer called Sam Malouf. And he made a mix rather than just applying polyurethane. He mixed something with boiled linseed oil, with tung oil, and with either polyurethane or spar urethane. In case you don't know the difference, spar urethane is specifically for outdoors. So it's more sturdy, it's more robust. They often use it for boats. I'm doing a bit of a variation of it because I don't really use tung oil. I use, let me show you the ingredients here. Hello, greetings. Greetings to you too. Yeah, let me know who's here and where you're from, and if you have any questions while I do this. Okay, so as I said, this here is spar urethane. I'm using spar urethane because these chairs are for the outdoors, so something a bit sturdier is always good and helpful, right? This is my linseed oil. And as I said, there we go. The original mixture of Sam Malouf is with linseed oil, tung oil, and urethane. And oftentimes, sometimes what you can do is you can add mineral spirits to it just to make it easier for wiping on, because this is ultimately a wipe on polyurethane. The one thing that you want to make sure of, and I usually do that as well instead of the tung oil. Hello. So where was I? I got distracted. Sorry, guys. You mix this in equal parts. I totally got sidetracked now. Sorry, guys. You ideally get a glass jar and you mix it. You can mix a bigger batch and use it over time. That's what I basically like to do. You can see how much I use of this. It's already pretty low. You mix equal parts because it's a two-part solution. I've got a video on explaining how I mix this together. I can leave the link later. It's me, myself, and I, and we're all from Prussia, Germany. Hi, nice to have you in here. So I'm really going to try to not get sidetracked while reading the comments as well. I've already prepared this. As I said, you mix however much or however little you want, and you do equally 3 parts. At the same time, I would also, by the way, recommend to look up Sam Malouf. He's very interesting. He makes really, really nice furniture. He's become kind of famous for, especially for the rocking chairs that he makes or made. He's passed away by now. Anywho, this is the first round. So basically what you do is you wipe this on. Be generous. Let it sit for a bit. You can either just let it sit and not apply as much and let it sit for 24 hours. That's usually what I do. Or you can saturate it, let it sit for a bit, and then wipe off the excess. And again, you let it sit for 24 hours. This process you repeat 2-3 times depending on how much of a finish you want on there. Hello, I'm on. Hi, nice to see you. As I said, so that's a process that takes a bit longer than just your average spray on some poly and call it a day, right? But it gives especially for wood looks, it gives a much nicer and richer finish, in my opinion. Obviously, you do you. I usually do 2 or 3 coats of that, meaning it takes 3 days. And when you're finished with that, what you usually do is you take out the urethane from this mixture and you exchange that for beeswax. So basically you grind down beeswax, you melt it in boiler, double boiler, which means you take a little pot, you put your beeswax in there, and you boil it in another pot with water, and you add that to the mixture. And then same thing, you apply that. One coat is usually enough. It gives it a really, really nice shine. Hello, another person's online. Hi everyone. So as I said, I have pre-prepared my mixture. I will leave you a video in the description on how to properly make this without me stumbling over my tongue. And maybe I'll make a new video because it's kind of old at this point. Anywho, so let's get to that. You can do that with a brush, by the way. You can do that with a foam pad. You can do that with a old sock, whatever. What does that say? I like a bain Marielle. Yes, exactly. Same principle. Pot with water, another pot with your beeswax shavings. You melt that in there, and you add that to your mixture. Let it cool down a bit. Okay, let's get to it. And also, do you see that? How freaking beautiful is this wood? I've mentioned it last time. I'll mention it again. This is Indian rosewood, and it's beautiful. Also, just another thing to clarify. When you do this mixture, you want to mix the poly part with an oil-based poly. Looks already great. Thank you so much. Yes, it does. I'm absolutely in love with that. It does look fantastic. It is common to find rosewood furniture in India. I'm not sure about common. I'm assuming that it was much more common back in the day but even today, like I have a dining table that is also rosewood, so they definitely still use it because I think it's just much more common than the South American rosewood, which is even more beautiful, and at this point you can't use anymore. It is one of these, you'll never see those things again. If you find an old one, keep it, but likely they won't come around anymore. In any case, as I was saying, you want to make sure to take oil-based polyurethane because we don't want to mix water-based and oil-based products ever. So we have our linseed oil, we have our names are hard. Our alcohol, whatever, that we use for thinning. So obviously those are all oil-based things. So as we said, we don't want to use a water-based polyurethane for that. And the other thing is, you want to stir this. Don't ever shake your oil or water-based mixes or paints or whatever, because you will introduce air, which will then create bubbles, and we don't like bubbles in finishes. So give it a gentle stir. Make sure that all the components are properly mixed up. And then that's it. Let's go. Alrighty. What's that? Dining table. Can we expect a video about this table? No, because it's a new table. It doesn't need any refinishing. I can leave a screenshot maybe in the posts, but it's basically the same wood, just newer. That table is only like, I want to say 3 years old now. Anywho, watch this magic. So the other chair that I already finished. What does my brother say? So not like the vodka. No, not shaken, stirred. Not like the vodka martini from James Bond. So as I was saying, the other chair that I already finished, I did this with 2 layers. 2 layers of finish. And again, how many you want to do is entirely up to you and your project and the needs of it and how you feel about it. Some of them that don't really see a lot of wear and tear, I will only do 1 coat, and then others I might do 3, and one project I've even done 4 because I felt the wood needed the hydration. And you see, you don't need to go with a grain. You don't care about any of that. and you just have at it and go crazy. And you will see, especially when doing the first coat, you will see how thirsty this wood is and how immediately basically it absorbs a ton of it. Because again, this wood has not seen any care, any love in 100 years, basically since it was made, I would assume. Oh, also another thing is this mixture I also use over the metal as a protector. So this might take a little bit longer than 24 hours to dry, but again, also depends on your weather conditions. Um, so yeah, no shyness. I go over everything. Stay hydrated. Yes, it's very important. Um, so yeah, I just go over the entire thing, and it's just so beautiful to watch the wood absorb the oil and just literally see it come to life and shine. It's I think every furniture's refinishers or restorers person favorite part because it's just so very satisfying. Not sure how well you can see it with the reflection. And again, you can come back later and see the entire video and you will see it properly. But in any case, I'm hoping that by the weekend I am done with these chairs and then I can spend the next. I want to be optimistic and say 2 days editing. So hopefully I will have a new video out for you next week with the entire project and the entire process. Do you guys have any other question regarding this process of the finishing, of the products that I use, of the process that I'm doing? Fire away. The finished chairs will be an eye catcher. Oh, absolutely. They're not for sale. They're staying with me. Nobody's gonna get them. Sorry, guys. Uh, yeah. Did you have any other interesting finds in India? um, yes, a lot. They do a lot of really, really nice stuff. I got a bunch of figurines, I got boxes, I got wall hangings, artwork, you name it. Like the it's a huge place. It has a lot of rich culture and history. And one of my favorite finds is actually an antique temple door. It's huge, it's massive. My husband hates it with a passion, um, but it's beautiful. He has to make do with it. The idea initially was to turn it into a table, but let's just say it's been a journey with that table. Well, it's not a table; it's still a door. Therefore, it's a journey. So it just leans on the wall and looks pretty. I can deal with that, and maybe one day I will turn it into a table. Looks already with one coat great. Yes, it does. Thank you. How dare she? Exactly. He has no taste, clearly, except for, he married me. So you have to do another video on your Indian stuff. Yeah, I should. I have a lot of knickknacks and stuff everywhere. Clearly grounds for a divorce. Well, I might not go as far. Um, he likes to grumble about the door, but I think secretly he likes it too. He just doesn't want to admit it out of principle. What are the next step with the chair project? The next steps are basically just more of this. So I'm going to finish applying the finish to all parts of this chair. Then I'm going to ignore it for 24 hours. Then I do another layer. Um, then comes the third layer, what I explained earlier with the beeswax. And that's it. Except for I still have to make cushions, but I think that's going to be another video because again, there's going to be something special about them because I explained that already for those that were here last week. I'm going to wax fabric, so it turns kind of like if you know these English wax jackets. So that's kind of the effect that I'm going for because again, these are outdoor chairs, so I want them to be weather. I don't say tight, but resistant. But yeah, I don't want to do that now because that would add another week or two to my project, especially that I had to order beeswax. So that'll be a separate video. So hopefully, as I said, by the end of the week, I'm hoping to be done with this. You could turn the door into a table for the chairs. Um, yes, I think ultimately, initially, the idea was to have it be a dining table, but because the table is pretty, the door is pretty thick, it's not really comfortable because it will be really high and your legs will always bump into it. So ultimately, I think I decided on turning it into kind of a low table. In which case, yeah, they would absolutely go with these chairs. But yeah, this door is massive. Like as I said, temple door, small temple, I guess, but still pretty big. So, and I only have two of these chairs. But yeah, the idea is basically that. Oh, the pillows. Someone asked what color are the pillows going to be. So the original pillows, I don't think, I mean original, the ones that I got them with, they are orangey, but I don't really want to do that. I'm going to go with something neutral. They're kind of sand colored, the fabric that I got. So I'm assuming that once I have applied the wax, they will be like a dark beige, dark sand color, but we'll find out once I apply the wax to it. Thick is nice. I'm not entirely sure what that means. I need more details. Please clarify. Dark sand sounds nice. Yes. So, because ultimately I don't want to go with a very loud color that just distracts from the beauty of these chairs. So I want something that goes with them, that highlights them, and doesn't really feel gaudy in a way that it just distracts from what this is. I'm not going to read this. Oh, yeah. And then the last thing that I still need to do, I got special feet that I have to add to the bottom. So that way the wood doesn't sit entirely on the ground. And if there's some dampness or if I'm cleaning or a bit of rain happens, that the wood doesn't sit exactly on the ground. So you can avoid damage to the wood at the bottom from dampness, from rain, whatever. So those I still need to attach. So I guess that would be the last finishing step on this project. Also, you can see how the surface is changing, how much the wood is absorbing the oil. So I don't think I'm even going to have to wipe off a lot of it. But just to demonstrate, let's take a shop towel and see how much actually comes off. You see, that is basically the only bit of oil that came off. It was that dry. I assume they shouldn't be left outside in the rain since it's wood or it doesn't care. Um, Bit of column A, bit of column B. They will stay outside. I'm not going to bring them inside every time it rains. Because again, that's what the spar urethane is for. It's a special polyurethane that is even used for boats. So the outside of a boat, which is in water, is covered with that. Obviously, many more layers than what I'm applying. But also, I'm going to get a cover so that in winter I can just pop something on top of them so that they're not sitting in the rain, which obviously I don't want. So that I don't have to redo this process in a few years, and then they'll be fine. Maybe you can integrate your beautiful temple door around this chair. Um, Maybe one day when I'm not working on my terrace anymore and I have a nice space where I can put it to actually enjoy the outdoors. Because right now, one of my terraces is my workshop. So the other terrace, the smaller one, is where the chairs will live, and the table definitely will not fit there. So otherwise, I have more table than I will have terrace. But anyway, you can see the difference what I wiped off um, in terms of oil. So I might actually even do a third coat on this just to make sure that it's really properly hydrated and the wood is reinvigorated. Now, where was I? Oh, and by the way, the metal paint, I did also two coats on this one. The last one, I even did three coats because it just needed much more. Oh, by the way, where's the lizard camera? Yes, I should set up a lizard camera. I fed them. Those of you that don't know, I have a little army of lizards living on my terrace here. Usually they like to. Oh, wait, he's there. He's actually watching. I will try to let you see him. Where the ladder is, on top of the wood, that's where the lizard is currently sitting. I don't know if you will be able to see him or if he's going to run away. Up here, where my finger is. Can you see the lizard? So he always likes to sit there and he always likes to watch me. Oh, he's going to run away now. Can you see him? So yeah, that's Bob. Bob likes to watch. Um, yes, we have become friends at this point. And yesterday he got a little bit of cantaloupe. I feed them every couple of days because they get up to 30 centimeters big. So I want to be friends with him just in case. Hi, Bobby. So yes, mother of lizards. Greetings to Bob. Yes, he is very cute. He's the OG lizard. I always recognize him. We have some transients that come and go, but he's always here. And sometimes when I work, he walks in circles around me just to see what I'm doing. So they're very curious. Maybe Bob should be integrated into your channel logo. I will consider that. That's actually a good idea. Now, okay. I think I will have to move my chair so I can do the other parts. Make a vote. Yes, I will have a vote. But yes, unless anyone has any more questions, I'm going to have to move around the chair to get the other bits and bobs of paint. I have explained where I'm at. And as I said, hopefully by next week, I'll have a video for you guys. And as always, it was great fun to hang out and actually chat to some of you people. And I hope you had fun. And on my next project, I'll make sure to have another live session. So thanks again for joining. And I hope to catch you soon. So bye bye.